Good everyone. I hope you guys had an amazing day. So today going to be the last episode for this AI associate certification course. I think I covered most of the stuff, but there are certain things I want you to go and read by yourself. First thing is the generative AI glossary. It talks about what artificial intelligence is, artificial neural network, augmented intelligence, CRM with AI, deep learning. We briefly touched upon different things, right? Large language model, grounding, generator. Maybe we haven't touched with the grounding, right? So it's like if you have a model, uh, and in the model you say that, hey, uh, where do you, like for instance, if you tell that if you wanted to get a response like you say, hey, I wanted to brew a beer. When do you think I can brew it? And if the model says anytime you want, that's an ungrounded response. Instead, it should be like, depends upon do you have the right hops, malts, or the ingredients, and do you have the right equipment. So that's a kind of grounded response, right? And hallucination is a kind of an issue in the model where it started giving error response. Like for instance, if you train your model with a lot of animals, and instead it started showing you an output in the form of like a giraffe head and monkey body and elephant head and the dog body. So it's kind of, if you say, hey, give me an output of an animal. So it started a large language model. Obviously, you're building a language model or to train, um, to be trained so that it generates the desired output. So you can go through it, and this is I briefly touched about a lot of things like machine learning, NLP, ethics. We talked about it. Machine learning bias. I talked about. So there is a difference between expected output uh, and then actual output, right? So the difference is the error, and so that's the bias that introduced to the model. Um, so go through it. I'll put the link in the description below. I will highly encourage you to go through it. It's very simple. Just read through it, and most of the things what I've covered, it's almost a part of it, anyways, right? So, uh, so far we talked about the importance of the data, why data is important. So, the one thing with this AI course, right? I mean, AI is huge. It's a lot of things you can talk about artificial intelligence. You cannot put an AI in one cert because there are a lot of things goes with artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, um, and in deep learning there are a lot of algorithms. Machine learning there are a lot of algorithms, and the libraries they come into picture, and the right way to do the things, and the data cleaning, data optimization, and the right tool to use. That you can use Tableau or you can use other tool. Those kind of things takes times, sometimes years to learn because you won't become a data scientist overnight, right? It involves a lot of understanding about mathematics, statistics. You should have a detailed knowledge of machine learning, different algorithms, why you want to use it, because that will help you to understand how you train a model. And also, if you're going to take the deep learning route, obviously there's an expectation you should have fairly decent understanding of machine learning. Um, and then you get into the deep learning where you should know neural networks, in and out of neural network is very important. But this course is not about that. It just course is to give you an overview and some of the Salesforce capabilities. So I think I've covered that, and that's pretty good enough for you to go and clear the cert. That being said, we're gonna do some tiny question and answer as usual, right? At the end of every cert, I do that. So it's the same for this, right? So if you go to Trailhead, right? There's a preparation for this. So let's go through some of the questions so that just to give you an idea where you are and if you're prepared. If not, then you can go back, watch my video, go to Trailhead, read some of the stuff. I often tell people don't just rely on my videos. You got to do your own homework. You got to read by yourself. You got to spend time understanding the different concept. Um, you might have to, try a different thing which works for you. So let's go to the AI fundamentals, right? Let's see if you understand the AI fundamentals. Exam practice questions. Which AI type plays a crucial role in Salesforce predictive search and speech recognition capabilities, enabling the platform to understand and respond to user commands accurately? Computer vision, obviously not, because we are not dealing about images. We are not the computer vision. Often, when you deal with, let's say, I have 50 pictures of dog, predict the next picture is about a cat or dog, right? So we are not talking about that. We are talking about the speech. So when you talk about the speech, the language comes in equation. For the language, if you remember, it's always NLP, natural language processing. We are not using predictive analysis. We are not uh, figuring out or doing any kind of forecasting. So in this case, it will be natural language processing. Yeah, fantastic. So which feature of Marketing Cloud Einstein? I know that we haven't talked about this. Marketing Cloud Einstein uses AI to predict consumer engagement for email, so that will come under engagement scoring. There is so you just go and read it if you're not sure. Usually they don't ask this kind of questions, but just in case, right? What's the unique and distinguishing feature of deep learning in context of AI? So deep learning uses neural network with multiple layers to learn from a large amount of data. Deep learning uses historical data to predict future outcome. Deep learning uses algorithms to cleanse. So if you remember, in a few minutes ago, I spoke about deep learning. When you talk about deep learning, you need to have a stronger understanding of neural networks. So it will go with the first option, right? We'll go with the first option. Cool. Okay, Salesforce consultant is discussing AI capability with a customer who's interested in improving their sales process. What type of AI would be suitable for enhancing sales process in Salesforce Customer 360? Obviously, computer vision is not. We are not talking about any kind of speech here, right? So natural language processing will be bypassed. So it seems to me it's a predictive analysis because, like I said, computer vision, we're not dealing with an image or picture. Okay, so that's done. So that's AI fundamentals. Let's look at explore AI capabilities in CRM. So if you think that some of the topics are not clear, I would highly encourage you to go back and review what you've learned so far. So that will help you. What are the three capabilities of AI? Three AI capabilities in Salesforce. Obviously, we have predictive analysis, we have generative, and we have analytics, right? So I haven't heard anything about reactive. Neither I talked about it, right? Descriptive, no. So I'll probably go with the first one. Yeah, that's correct. Okay, so what AI application is, which AI Salesforce application is recommended to enhance the sales process? Obviously, if you look at the three things here, Einstein Voice, no, it's not part of it because we not really Einstein Voice really do not help you to enhance the sale process. So engagement lead scoring, because that's the one thing we can focus on, because based on the lead scoring, the rep can decide which lead is of higher priority. If you remember, I spoke about briefly the lead scoring. So that's what the answer should be. What's the key benefit of implementing AI in CRM system? Enhance customer support, improve platform speed, reduce data governance. Got nothing to do with the speed and reduce data governance. That's a very serious risk. So that's out of question. So the answer will be A. So uh, Cloud Kicks is implementing AI in its CRM system and is focusing on data management. What's the benefit of using data management approach in AI implementation? First thing, need for data governance, such a bad thing, right? It's shite. Take it off. Reduce the amount of data in CRM system. That's even horrible. It means you're deleting the data. So the answer will be C. Yeah. So this is, so the way I often, so the thing which I often tell my students that when you go to, before you go and take any cert, right? It doesn't matter Salesforce or any cert. Just need to figure out. first you need to understand the question, right? What the question is trying to say. Then try to read through the answers, right? If it's a multiple choice questions, then see if any of it makes sense. So, and try to isolate the bad ones first, right? If you think, oh, is not a part of it, this is not a part of it, then you're left with few choice to pick from. So that's kind of technique I often use when it comes to certification. That's why I often have a track record of not failing any cert. Uh, and I also have a record of taking not too many certs because I don't usually take certs which is just for the sake of it. I only take certs if it's really needed uh, for the business I associate with, right? If the business says, hey, if you wanted to come and work, implement a solution for us, you need to have this and this cert, right? Makes sense. I go and take the cert, right? If business says, I don't really care, but because for me, cert doesn't make any difference, right? I need to understand the concept. That's more important. Okay, so that's great. Okay, ethical consideration. Very important topic. Yeah. A consultant discusses the role of humans in AI driven CRM process with a customer. Which one is a challenging? Uh, sorry, which is. Sorry, what is the one challenge the consultant should mention about human AI collaboration? So, in decision making. So, we are talking about human um, AI collaboration decision making. So, um, difficulty in interpreting AI decision, high cost of AI implementation, lack of technical skill. B and C, you can flag it. It makes no sense, right? So obviously it's A. I'm sorry, I can't really speak very well because I got mouth ulcers because I end up in eating, accidentally end up in eating some spicy food. I do not like spicy food. It it destroys my stomach basically, and as a matter of fact, I get started to get mouth ulcers. So that's why my speech is a bit fuzzy. I can't really speak. It hurts when I speak. In spite of that, I just thought I will prepare this final lecture so that I can forget about rest of the YouTube series for this year, right? Because this is the only thing I wanted to do. So, okay. Anyway, sorry, I digress. Cloud Kicks wants to implement Salesforce AI features. They are concerned about potential ethical and privacy challenge. What should be recommended uh, to minimize potential AI bias, right? Salesforce trusted principle. I cover this in detail, right? If you remember it. So let's look at the second option. Demographic data to identify minority groups. Absolutely not. AI models that autocorrect. Not really. So it should be A. Fantastic. Okay, a consultant designs a new AI model for a financial service company that offers potential loans. Which variable within the proposed model might introduce unintended bias? So remember I talked about the bias in the model. If you are going to train your model based on limited data set, it will introduce the bias. The same goes here. Now think about this question for a second. We are talking about a bias. Can the loan data introduce the bias? Not really, right? Can the potential payment due date introduce the bias? Not really. Can the postal code introduce the bias? Think about it. When you buy a house, when you rent a home, right? What's the first thing you always consider? Location, right? So the postcode. So in this case, postal code. Okay, CloudKicks is planning to automate its customer service chat using NLP. According to Salesforce trusted AI principle, how should this be disclosed to customer? They do not need to be informed they're chatting with AI, which is very silly response. Inform the customer they are chatting with AI when they request a live agent. Not really. That's still not very ethical. Inform them at the beginning that interaction they are chatting with AI. This is the right thing to do, right? Summit. Fantastic, right? Okay, so let's look at the data stuff. The last topic, cloud. Kicks want to implement AI feature within CRM system. They have expressed concern about the quality of the existing data. What advice should be given to regarding the importance of the data quality for AI implementation? I talked about data literacy. I talked about the data quality, right? So think about what I've covered in the previous episode. Accessing data quality is only necessary for a large data set, total BS. AI system can handle any data inaccuracy, total BS. So the C part, right? Okay. What role does the data play in AI model? Data is used for training and testing. Data is used for validating. Data is used for testing. No. So if you remember, I talked about the supervised and unsupervised model. I spoke about training data and test data, where how do you train your data and then test it. So it's always the A. What data quality dimension refers to frequency and timelines of data update? Obviously, when you refer to data dimensions, right? That in terms, um, so what is that you think which will affect the frequency and timeliness? Is the data leak? Does the data leak really affect the frequency, or is the data source, or is the data refresh? Means you have a data, your data sitting is stagnant, but you know the data needs to be constantly updated, right? So it comes with the data freshness. So I mean, I tell you, this cert is very easy to be honest. I mean, a Salesforce consultant is considering the data set to use for training AI model for a project on a customer 360 platform. What should be considered when selecting the data set for the AI models? Duplication, accuracy, consistency, story equation, use of data set. Age, completeness, consistency, theme make no sense to me. Duplication, use of data set. I don't think so. B is correct. Age, completeness, accuracy, consistency, duplication, use of data set. Everything you want covers in C, right? Because here, why do you care about the storage location? So, okay. So that's pretty much I wanted to cover. And I hope you guys really go and smash the set. But that's being said, I really request you guys to please go and go through the trailhead. Just don't rely on my YouTube videos. That's I always tell people. YouTube, my videos is to assist your learning journey. It's not going to, is to be the only source of the learning you should rely on. You should take it as an assisting partner. If you're a fan of a YouTube, or if you're a fan of a video lectures, then my YouTube videos will definitely help you, and that's my always belief. I never say, or never ever you're gonna hear me say that my YouTube video is the only thing you should refer to. No, there are different source of learning out there. I highly encourage you to go out and look for different resource and be creative, be curious about the things, and be and yeah, be creative, right? And then you should also try to see the business problem you're trying to solve, because like I always say, right, just don't do cert for the sake of cert. Do certification because you wanted to solve a business problem. At the end of the day, it's all about business problem you're trying to solve. It doesn't matter you're a developer, a tester, functional consultant, technical architect. You're there to solve a business problem using a technology. If you're not sure about the business problem you're trying to solve, you're missing out the most important piece in the puzzle, right? So that's why, I tell you one very simple example. I've seen, I mean, I'm recently noticing, right, the security aspect of Salesforce. The org wide sharing, the permission set. People with Salesforce, even I've noticed in different places I work, people struggle with the fundamental Salesforce security. You give them a complex Salesforce security architecture to do. People who claim themselves as a Salesforce architect, they struggle big time. And it just makes me wonder, how do these people manage to get the sharing visibility certification? Because for me, that shows one thing: having a cert makes no difference to me if you can't deliver, when you ask to deliver. So I've seen people who got no cert, but they're extremely talented. They can nail the stuff in a short span of time, and they get the architecture in the right way. So that's the kind of people I often look to hire. And I don't care you got 40 cert, 50 cert. If you can't implement a core architecture which solves the business problem, it's pointless to me, your cert. End of story, right? So that's why I often tell it's okay to take certification, right? I don't discourage you from taking certification as long as you know the business value you're going to add using this cert, right? Think about the problem. It's all about business value. It's got nothing to do with, your job you're going to find. Because I've seen most of the people, oh, I wanted to find a job. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But along with that, you should also think if someone wants to hire you, what business value you're going to add to the business you're going to be associated with, right? Think about from that perspective. So that being said, I hope you guys have an amazing day. So all the best with your cert. Adios.